The main interesting idea that explains, in this sense, what was feudalism in the Middle Ages. It is in relation with the falling of the Western Roman Empire. In fact, with the falling of the Western Roman Empire, we know that the taxes, in particular, the connection between the emperors, the soldiers, or the army, or the legionaries in general, and at the same time the elites of the Roman Empire, it was in dangers in the end of the Western Roman Empire. Why? Because in particular with the different type of barbarian invasions, it was in this sense a specific type of conquest that barbarian developed into the Western Roman Empire. In particular, because the Huns brought these barbarians to arrive to the Western Roman Empire. In particular, these barbarians arrived in front of the borders of the Danube, the river Danube in the east of the Roman Empire, and then we know that a mass of people, of barbarians, after these first type of movements of the Goths, in particular in 366, between the 366 AD and 368 AD, after this type of period arrived other type of periods where other type of barbarians arrived to develop a specific type of movements in the western part of the Roman Empire. Therefore, on the one hand, in the east part of the Roman Empire, there were some barbarians that arrived into the Western Roman Empire, but at the same time, firstly into the East Roman Empire, and then other type of barbarians that instead in front of the borders of the River Rhine, in the western part of the Roman Empire, arrived and developed their movements entering in the empire. This is really interesting because, for example, the different type of barbarians, in particular the Vandals, arrived into the Western Roman Empire, and the Vandals in particular arrived in the Iberian Peninsula, and then they arrived also in the western part of Africa, in particular in the region of Tunisia, in the actual region of Tunisia, in the ancient Carthage, and they conquered this region. And at the same time, because the Western Roman Empire lost this region, in particular. Lost its important economy relation with the connection between Carthage, Ostia, and Rome, and in this sense lost the important taxes, lost the market, lost also the important connection with the wet that it was important to maintain the economical sustain of Rome. This is interesting because when Rome lost the Western when the Western Roman Empire lost the Western Africa, in particular the region of Tunisia, in the end it was fallen, and at the same time we know that indirectly these type of barbarians that arrive in particular at the beginning from the east, then from the west, it was they moved because the Huns, but at the same time also the Huns in the 5th century AD attack the Roman Empire, on the one hand in the east part, on the other hand in the western part. Rome succeeded to limit the invasion. In particular, we know that the Huns attack the actual France, and then arrived in the North Italy, in the in particular in the cities as Verona or as Brescia, but also in Milan. In any case, the Roman soldiers, the Roman legionaries, succeeded to defend in the end these regions. And in this sense, the Huns had to return in this part. We know that in this sense, in any case, the connection between the wealth, the economics, and the taxes, in any case, it was lost because, in particular, the Vandals controlled the western part of Africa. The East Roman Empire, in particular, didn't help the western part of the Roman Empire because it had the problem at the same time of the UNS itself, but at the same time we know that also the Persian Sassanids Empire tried to limit the possibilities of a West of a East Roman Empire. At the same time, we know that the UNS, at the same time, in this sense, limited or better develop a specific type of connection between the Persian Empire, the Persian Sassanid Empire, and the east part of the Roman Empire, because the east part of the Roman Empire and the Sassanid Persian Empire consider the Huns a sort of important enemy, and therefore these two type of empires, the Romans and the Persians, considered with time the necessity to develop a specific type of connection between themselves to limit the potential attacks of the Hun. In particular, of the Huns, in particular because this type of attacks could be really important. At the same time, we know that in any case, the western part of the Roman Empire it was fallen because this type of crisis in economics. And with time, it was developed a specific type of new type of structure, the feudalism. The legionaries, the soldiers of the Western Roman Empire didn't have a specific type of payment because the taxes didn't arrive. Therefore, there was no more the connection between emperor and legionaries to connect a specific for a connection to develop a specific type of defend of the elite class of the Roman Empire, Western Roman Empire, and therefore, if legionaries didn't defend the elite class of the Roman Empire in relation with the ideas of the emperors, in this sense, because the economical crisis, in particular, that began from Africa, the western part of Africa, in this sense, we know that the soldiers didn't defend the elite classes didn't support its economy, and in the end, the western part of the Roman Empire fell. This is interesting because then arrived feudalism during the time. In fact, we know that we are, in this sense, in the 5th century AD. After the deposition of the last Roman emperor, Romulus Augustulus, we know that there was a structure with a different type of barbarians that were in Europe, for example, the Ostrogoth, the Vandals, etc. But we know that Justinian, at the same time, the important emperor of the east part of the Roman Empire, succeeded to reconquer these territories, in particular the Italian peninsula and the western part of Africa, and a little part of Spain, the southeast of Spain. In the end, we know that after this reconquest, the East Roman Empire, or in general, the Roman Empire in this sense, didn't maintain these reconquests. In fact, with arrived the Arabs that conquered the Persians, Sassanids, and after they conquered also the North Africa, all the North Africa, and then the Spain. Therefore, the structure in the center of Europe, it was then Catholic, in particular from the influence of the Franks, with the Carolingian Empire, and then in the end with the Carloman. And we know that in this sense there was a specific type of structure between the 8th and the 9th century AD. With a specific type of development between the temporal power or the power of a sovereign and the spiritual power or the power of a pope and the church. The feudalism, in this sense, it is really interesting because the elites at the beginning began to reflect in relation with the new type of elites, the barbarians. But in this sense, then with the idea of the Carloman Empire, with the idea of Catholics, and the Catholicism, the idea of Catholic religion, and the idea of the two type of powers, the temporal power and spiritual power, it was developed a specific type of connection between sovereigns and popes, with a specific type of connection with a new type of structure between the cities and the lands. The monasteries happened, they built, and at the same time the cities they built because the monasteries that were really important indirectly to develop a specific type of life between these centers. And at the same time, there was a specific type of new structure of feudalism where there were important hierarchies between the kings, the sovereign, and the specific type of vassals with a specific type of path. Therefore, in particular, from the Carloman Empire to the 10, the 11 century AD, therefore, between the from the 8th, 9th century AD to the 11th century AD, there was a specific type of structure, a new type of structure, the feudalism. A structure that it was in relation with the agriculture, where there were some important men who cultivated the land, and at the same time, these men were paid in a specific type of, in this sense, part, but at the same time, they were defended by some feudals, by some vassals who defended these lands in relation with a specific type of a path, deals, a treaties that they did with some kings. And there was a hierarchy in this type of structure. Therefore, after the falling of the Roman Empire, and with, in particular, from the Carloman Empire, there was a specific type of structure during the centuries that arrived to be a complete type of feudalism where the kings developed path with different type of vassals, different type of vassals developed paths between themselves, and they were the agricultural life, and these paths were important to maintain a specific type of good behavior in relation with the Catholic dogmas, in relation with the Catholic religion, and in relation with the Catholic philosophy, but also in relation with the holy writers, in particular the Bible, and in relation with the also the canonic rights, the ecclesiastical rights. And this is interesting to understand, on the one hand, the rights of the monasteries that indirectly develop the different type of centuries, the cities, and then the different type of cities into the same emperor develop a specific type of rights between them. We know, for example, that Carloman had important bishops in relation with his administration in his empire. And this is interesting because, therefore, this hierarchy in the feudalism developed a specific type of path that wanted to defend the territories in relation with this path. The kingdoms that gave some missions, some responsibilities to the vassals, and the vassals between them gave to themselves some responsibilities. And each vassal that had this responsibility had to respect this responsibility. And if didn't do this, the other vassals could criticize him, and in the end, if he continued to do this, attacked him as a war or declare him a war because there was a specific type of path that was violated. This is interesting. Therefore, a structure, feudalism, in relation with the land, to cultivate these lands, to have a specific type of part to support these lands in relation with the dominion of the kings and the vassals, in relation with a specific type of paths, without a specific type of national state, without a specific type of absolute monarchy, because there was pacts, deals between a hierarchy, and these deals continued to themselves. And also there was also the idea of ecclesiastical and canonic rights that were defended by the church and the monks that indirectly support this type of idea of feudalism with their structure, with their buildings, with their work. Bye.